Hi, Jake Delano here to tell you more about how query variable can add to your design process, this time with frames. Let's start by creating the left side rails of the sports wheelchair and then creating a query variable. Query variable gives you a variety of selection options that can be stored as reusable selection sets. The Created By option lets me create a reusable, parametric selection of all the bodies that are created by frame 4. Within Query Variable, you have the option to filter scope to vertices, faces, edges, or bodies. Another query variable can be created for the back frame created in frame 2 that will be used in a later step. Now that I have these queries stored, I can easily mirror the left rails to create the other side of the chair frame. If the frame guides change and members are added or removed, the previous query will automatically update to reflect the new selections and update the mirror feature as well. These queries can also help when trimming frames. With the Frame Trim tool, you can select hierarchical groups of frames for trimming. Traditionally, you need to manually select each frame, but with query variables, it becomes easier and more robust than ever. I can select the multiple queries and combine them with other selections. This saves me time, but also makes sure that if new frames are added, they're still trimmed downstream in the correct group. Query variable is useful for operations like selecting all bodies, but did you know that these queries can be nested as well? I want to create a query for all the welded bodies, so use the all solid bodies option. I only want metal components though, so I can nest a subtraction query into my query variable to remove the seat. This saves significant time over manually selecting each frame element and adds a logic to your selection that you wouldn't normally get with a box select. Now I can take this query of just my weldment and use it in a custom feature that I've created for setting component color based on RGB values. I've mentioned a few times that the power of query variable comes in its parametric nature. Now that I'm done with my design, if I go back and edit the routing curve and add some default bends, more parts are created. Because my beginning created by queries selected all bodies created from given features, every dependent feature downstream updates without needing manual efforts. This robustness lets you design faster without fear of missteps or certain components being left out of trimming operations. For one final application, let's take a look at this industrial standing desk model. If I want to create end caps on all the faces of these frames, I can use the matching option within query variable. It allows me to select matching faces on these frames to be used for creating end caps downstream. Instead of having to do 6 clicks for all the individual faces on this frame, I can use the query variable and then add it into my end cap feature. This now cuts the number of clicks down in half that I need to create end caps on all 6 ends of these frames. These are just a few ways to use query variable for frame design, but there's so many more applications to be found out as well. Test it out for yourself on your next design and keep your eyes out for next week's tech tip. Thanks for watching.